pick from VP to make sure that Liquid can get their hands on it.
But Puck's also really nice against Sand King. The coil's super annoying for, like, Sand King, at least as a support, relies on mobility items to survive, really. And then I really like the Puck against the Shadow Demon. It's a follow-up to the Disruption, as you mentioned, similar to the Upheaval. It's also really nice against Terrorblade. AoE magic damage that Terrorblade, he doesn't really kill Puck, right? That's the beauty of Puck here. They do have the instant disable from Sand King, but if Puck just gets 1 or 2 survivability items, it's going to be quite a nuisance on the map and in teamfights. But they go for the Nature's Prophet. So far, none of the heroes really deal with this hero very well. I've been experimenting with Nature's Prophet myself because I've been seeing him broken for long enough. And his laning stage is just insane. He's got base damage in the 60s, his treants now. Like, they just don't feed any gold. Like, you can have terrible micro, and they just don't feed anything.
It is mind-boggling me every single tournament. We see this hero unpicked at the start and then rise in the ranks all the way till its first 2. Meanwhile, check TI8, check TI9. OG effectively always will first 2 this one available because it's incredible as an offlaner, and No Tail as a 5 Furion is just so value, right? He's TPing from base to refill bottles. He's stacking with treants. You always win your lane. You can buy whatever items you want. I just don't know how it just takes so long to catch on.
The nature of the hero.
Oh, the ult. The ult is like 400 magic damage. We've been memeing about that upstairs.
I mean,
plus Veil usually on your team, like the Sand King.
This is all coming from someone who I know is a very notorious advocate for stuns, though. And Nature's Prophet, that was his biggest shortcoming. Sure, he can stall at a game, he's very mobile, but at the end of the day, disables are still disables, and Sprout is not a disable.
But the trouble is, if you look at Liquid's lineup, let's assume this is a support Tiny. There's 0 armor on the hero. Warlock can't do a damn thing against summons. Tiny is not going to do a damn thing in lane. You actually just have to avoid the Furion. So, yeah, you don't have stuns, but you have a full creep wave at, what, 6 minutes into the game, 7 minutes into the game, that you can teleport and create on demand, plus double Zeus ulti. Plus it's open. I love the Storm pick. This is one of the better heroes against, well, effectively the entire VP lineup.
Yeah.
You need some reach for this SD and Furion.
So far, I am favoring the Team Liquid draft. I think Virtus.pro's posing major threats in the late game with the Terrorblade, mid game with the Nature's Prophet, but I think they're being responded to really well by the
You've got to ban Drow though, right? If you're VP.
I hope so.
You cannot leave it in.
Who's a bigger issue, an Arc Warden or a Drow for a
I think those might be the 2 bans, to be honest with you. They go Sven. I think that is more of a Liquid hero. I was considering Sven for them 4th pick, but I also didn't really like it that much against the Shadow Demon.
I think it's hit or miss. The thing is, you can naturally just deal with the Terrorblade and then the illusions from the SD. Ultimately, I think whatever carry Liquid pick is going to get purged. So,
yeah, just some heroes function better getting purged than others. Ranged heroes, for instance.
But does purge matter? You buy Ags though.
On Sven, I guess it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's also very annoying against your Warcry too, though. Which he actually does rely on the Warcry this game specifically, if it were to be picked, because he's against Terrorblade, Nature's Prophet, very heavy physical damage.
I am somewhat disappointed to see that IO ban, as we had glimpses of Mike IO in that 5-man Liquid series that never really came to fruition with multiple disconnects, but it seems like they're just targeting Mike heavily with the Morphling IO and Sven, and now we will see the final, most likely carry ban from VP.
I really like the Liquid bans. I think Virtus.pro's tempo of the game and early group up and push was a major issue for Liquid, especially when Warlock's ulti's on cooldown, so they ban out the Death Prophet and the Venom. Both heroes that work very well with that game plan. So I think Team Liquid just has to get past this first 15 minutes before they get overwhelmed with summons, illusions, shoving waves. Sand King shoves waves. Shadow Demon's not a terrible support for shoving waves. And as long as they can evade fights while their cooldowns are still coming up, Team Liquid, I really like what they're doing right now.
Yeah, it feels weird when you say you got to survive the early game against the Terrorblade. Void makes sense. Drow is not the same concept. In the past, if you saw a Storm and a Puck, you'd immediately think we've got to ban this hero. But Void makes a lot of sense. Mickey played it like a boss yesterday, and it just gives you reliable lockdown against the Terrorblade rather. Beastmaster I like from VP. They double down on the strength of their draft. They want to win a game quickly. They want to get ahead. They want to kill towers and abuse map control. Liquid are going to win in the late game, so you've got to take that away from them and take it in the mid.
I've been told that banishes are really effective against Chronosphere, though. So final pick Void into a Shadow Demon that was first phase. It seemed like they're able to answer some of the issues that VP are presenting with this Terrorblade, but I still see a couple of holes in Liquid's game plan here.
I didn't think they were going to go with Void personally because I was talking about their concern about what Virtus.pro is going to do coming into the series. We know how Virtus.pro plays, super fast tempo, non-stop aggression. Like you'll see no one in all 3 lanes, it feels like, in the course of 30 seconds. And Void is the same thing as Warlock in terms of this part of the game. He's going to struggle to deal with this kind of thing when he doesn't have his Chronosphere. And Beastmaster, one of my favorite offlaners for punishing Faceless Void. I think Team Liquid really has to deter this early aggression, otherwise this game could get ugly real quick. I'm going to take the Virtus.pro lineup, though, because I think Void played into the hands of Virtus.pro strategy, and I think Virtus.pro then doubled down on their strategy with the Beastmaster, so I think it's going to be a bit too fast for their heroes to keep up with.
Odds are looking extremely even between both teams, and I will say that, for what it's worth, both lineups look very fitting for their style and their teams. So let's see how it all pans out for game number 1.
Virtus.pro. Team Liquid. To the battlefield.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Immortal Division. We've got elimination for 4 different teams today on the line. Starting up, Virtus.pro versus Liquid, Jenkins, and we've already seen the draft. Feels like the analysts, they pointed out, I think, what was really nice, which is both teams drafted to what has been their strength so far here at Omega League.
Yeah, 100%. I think probably if you go late game, and it's even, VP is a lot happier. It's a lot easier to execute. You have this TB hero. We've seen TB outcarry basically everything in this tournament so far. But I do think that this Liquid draft, that they can snowball really hard. Their team fight between the Warlock, Puck, Void, Storm, Big Zips, like that's a lot of damage. I think you just need a lead in order to make it work.
Yeah, it feels like as we've gone farther and farther through Omega League, we're just getting more and more like wombo combo out of it. Like as many big AoE team fight abilities as possible, even if it does come at a cost of having those longer cooldowns, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is something you actually pointed out in a previous series. The solution to that a lot of people seem to be picking is to just pick so much of it that you are very likely to have a cooldown up at a given point. You're not necessarily going to need to use Coil. You're not necessarily going to need to use the Chronosphere. You might be able to save a couple of these abilities, and we're actually seeing Faceless Voids do that often. Like they... Oh my goodness, I can't concentrate with this blocking.
Welcome to the casting zone, Jenkins.
Come on. At least do the Apex Mage version.
Oh, look at who defeated the Apex Mage. Wow. What is the line anyway? I don't even know.
It's actually less annoying than the Bok. So Liquid,
well, that's why they're keeping the Bok.
I think that was a huge oversight for Valve to make the final one not as annoying, because that's why people spam them, is to tilt people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to. So you're saying they should have just put like Slacks as the voice actor and just gotten him to like scream into the microphone? Is that what you're saying?
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
I think that would be. I mean, he loves this Aghanim's Labyrinth. I feel like he's part of the lore at this point, how much he's contributed.
He really is. Honestly, Valve need to write Slacks into the lore at this point in time, because he has done so much for the lore of Dota 2, where I think very, very few people actually care, because, you know, they're hardcore gamers. Don't give me stories. Me want action, you know? But, like, I think Slacks gets people interested in the lore because of who he is.
It's something, you know? It's a niche. The lore thing. It's one of those things that it's like there's stuff you can pull from for new heroes, you know, new games, but we don't talk about those.
Yes.
It's nice to have some depth, you know. It's some inspiration for new heroes.
All right, we're going to try again here in this opening game of Team Liquid and Virtus.pro. See Boxy having his, what is very rapidly becoming a more signature puck for him. Liquid have picked it up twice so far in Omega League, and just like recently, they've been doing this split that you have been absolutely in love with,
Big
Jenkins.
fan.
You have been in love with this newer idea that they seem to be bringing to the fore, which is basically splitting the farm between the 3 and 4 position.
It's just such a literal interpretation of what everybody has thought for a long time, which is that the position 4 is basically a... Oh.
That was sick.
Oh,
Well played. Solo snuck in behind the tower. The board was giving him the vision. Look at him. He's even going to like try and body block a little bit. The board's going to join him. Mickey's going to take so much damage, and he's going to miss at least one full wave of experience. I'm surprised they didn't keep going. Maybe he was a little bit afraid of a support coming in, but look, here's Zayats. Now Zayats is going to be joining in on the fray. Another time walk's coming up, so Mickey will finally get back to lane in a second here, but it certainly did cost him a hefty amount.
And Zayats gets the second wave as well. This is so well played from VP so far. I know it's only been literally 51 seconds of a game. Well, there's some pre-horn game time there, but just wow. I mean, the cancel with the board chasing into the he gets the wave cut, right, and now he's going to block the camp as well. So that stun isn't just a stun. Oh, I'm gonna bully Mickey. It's like that as well as this wave cut that he was already setting up for anyway.
Yep.
Right? So
and because the support is in a position where he's like, oh, my carry's not here, I have to focusing on the CS. It means he's not there to do something about Zayats pulling this wave, right? Normally you take a lot of damage from Warlock, who's, got a great animation, who has this nice shadow word that does good damage. He just chase you the entire time.
Yeah, he'll chase you and he'll make it a pain in the ass. What this reminds me of, do you remember that clip of No Tail from, I believe it was TI9, where the title was something along the lines of like, I don't know, he did like 5 or 6 different like supporting things in a row, where like gets a kill, goes and like stacks something, kills a courier. It was just like a very beautiful combination of like so many things at once within a small window. Just such good efficiency that it just went viral based on the efficiency of what he was doing. That's what this reminds me of. Is just like a bunch of things happening at once where it's like that is the dream start for a game. Like that is, you've already contributed the maximum that most people will contribute as a support.
And even more impressive in a way than just because of the fact that it's multiple people pulling this off, right? It's not one person.
It's a combination,
it's
right?
Synergy. It's the Beastmaster in the first place chasing him down with the board, then giving him the vision to be able to for Solo to use that positioning to stop the TP. Zayats cutting in, being able to grab this wave. Just goes to show that Virtus.pro, one of the things that we talked about just before this on the panel was that like this is a team that looks like they're in really good shape right now, like in better shape than we've seen from a Virtus.pro in a while.
Definitely.
They have been suffering ever since that big roster change up here.
For sure. And I don't want to sound like we're just hyping up because it's paused, but I mean, I've had this opinion for a while. I feel like this is not a very crazy opinion, but if you can, the amount of lanes that I've seen won before the horn, it's like, it's so many times you'll just take a bad trade and then you have to use a salve or a salve in like 2 tangos and you just lose the lane. That's like exactly what just happened. The lane is going to be quite hard for the Void to recover in most situations. Like people have recovered, but it's hard.
And that's more prevalent now, especially with the regen slowing down the courier, right?
Yes, exactly. It's such a... You need somebody to die. You need a support to run and die, but then you're feeding a kill in order to do that, which means you need to go for a kill, but you have less regen. It's it's a snowball effect. Obviously, it's 51 seconds into the game, so it's not the biggest thing ever, but the earlier in the game that you're doing these effective things, the more it snowballs.
Who's the second webcam on Virtus.pro? Because I couldn't really see, but I thought there was nobody in the chair.
It's just darkness. Darkness has enveloped one of VP's players.
Been taken over.
Yeah, they are.
One too many pubs, that's what happens to you.
It really is. Skewing on a Russia server.
Mid matchup, no one versus Koifa's Storm Spirit, Nature's Prophet, which we've been like talking about a whole lot in this event. This hero just feels kind of like it has this insane timing now at level 6. No one's having some issues. You could
wow, they're having some mega issues.
Yeah,
maybe that's why the lights were out, because the power went out and like the UPS was keeping the internet alive and the computers, but not the lights.
Is I guess all of Virtus.pro, or like most of them, all in the boot camp?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it.
That's interesting.
Sometimes it is weird. I've definitely had situations where
it's why you're the only one not DC'd.
That happens sometimes. I don't know what it is. Sometimes for some reason, some computers just don't go out, or they come back immediately. You don't get DC'd from Dota.
And you hear from Resolution, he's not at boot camp. Oh, he's with us.
He's with us.
Oh, dear.
I think Boxy meant to type that when they were all
Next thing you know, they pull down that green screen there. You see,
there they are.
It's in the background.
There's the guy that
Oh
who had
my god!
the lights were off because there was a green screen between them and him.
Well, Liquid seems to be having a good amount of fun with this.
Yeah.
There they are in the Liquid boot camp, all in the same area.
It looks very. I gotta say, it looks very bland, their background, but I imagine
It's intended to be a green screen.
yeah, it's a green screen, so you can just put some.
See, apparently, Insania, I don't know if it's better lighting or better webcam,
It's
but
great lighting for him.
yeah, look at him.
It could be the webcam. The webcam set.
Okay. You can see. Okay, notice something about Insania here.
Look at the glasses.
Clean shaven
Sure.
is what I was going to say. Freshly shaved this morning. He woke up, wanted to make sure he felt his best for this match against
You know
Virtus.pro.
what? There's some theory behind possibly just allowing yourself to be a complete degenerate.
Okay.
Let the facial hair grow. Don't shower. Let it all fester, and then, boom! All of a sudden, somebody has this crazy performance. How is it possible? It's because they emotionally uplifted themselves by making their physical entity at a higher level, and it brings up the play. You know, like you could. I'm saying you could do this intentionally. Let yourself slip.
And would I happen to know the name of this person who came up with the theory?
I think it was Professor Sandbag, and it's called sandbagging.
I'm pretty sure it was you. I'm pretty sure you just wanted a reason to be a total degenerate. And you tried to make up some bullshit reason as to why you hadn't showered for 2 weeks.
No bullshit there. That's hard science. It's not soft science. It's hard science.
And then there's actually something in the Japanese culture, right? Where after a breakup, you cut your hair. Right? You just kind of like to get away from the sadness, you know?
I thought you were going to refer to the hikikimarus, which are like the Japanese version of neats. I think that's what hikikimaru is.
Uh-huh.
Hope that's not like something from hentai or something.
Oh my! All right, Black, calm down here. Still waiting to see that first blood as Boxy, who's, I might have already said this, but 2-0 so far in Omega League with his puck. And instead of Sand King, which we've seen them run 4-position Sand King with this combo, instead it's going to be Taiga playing the Tiny, which I feel like is just as good, if not better, as
Still
a hero
farming.
that has split some farm.
Yeah, man, that's interesting. It's always these blink heroes that want to get an early blink where it's like it seems like honestly Taiga is just taking the farm priority even. It's not even like, oh, if Boxy can't lane, Taiga will take it. He just takes it either way, which is very cool. Like Puck needs less, I suppose. You just need the levels, and then you can get the farm later, but Tiny can't. Like, I would love to hear their reasoning on this.
You know, though, like, the one thing I can think back of is that moment where I saw, like, Boxy when Liquid was ahead and Boxy was, like, really far out of position, you know? Like, maybe Boxy just isn't, like, maybe he's not feeling himself, or maybe he just wants to play more aggressive, but doesn't want to have the net worth position that kind of, is Mickey actually going to die here? Good blocks there from Insania.
Big wave, man. You can just dive him here, I think.
Yeah, they're just going to keep going. Mickey, he does have a Fairy Fire and the Healing Word on him. They're going to try and turn around and kill some of the boars. Pops the Fairy Fire, kills one boar. That was a boar that was just about to die. Time Walk is up. Here comes the Furion. Looking to finish off Mickey. Quickly cuts through that trees and is getting out of here. He's not getting any of this CS, but hey, at least he's getting some of the experience and hasn't died yet. But boy, is his game being totally ruined, and he does not have a courier on the way. There's no regen that's about to show up. It's entirely whatever the Warlock provides. Oh, bottom lane, this is a big kill. They get it. First blood. So because Mickey and Insania managed to dodge that so well, they aren't the ones to give away first blood, and their allies get it instead.
Yeah, very nice. I think, you know, if you're Void, it sucks to not be getting that CS under tower, but that was a lot of wasted time. He even had no one who used his TP top, and then he had to walk back to mid, or he had to TP back to mid with the TP scroll. So that's a little bit of space for Koikva. I think this should be a fairly Nature's Prophet favored matchup otherwise. So much needed space for him in this lane.
Still, though, Virtus.pro doing a very good job of keeping this Faceless Void under-farmed. As he is the bottom core, because we're not going to include Boxy in that list, because Taiga's the real core.
I don't even know who you include. It's like, this is not Dota. I hate to keep talking about it so much, but I find it so fascinating. It's just such a new idea. I actually hope they win just because I want to see what their explanation is for it. All right, unbiased caster here.
You really are. Don't worry.
Let's go VP.
Insania going for the TP out. Must have already used the Burrow Strike, I'm guessing, so he's good to go. Interesting that I thought he would have gotten for the second level of Shadow Word just because they've been so pressured. But still, 2 levels of the Fatal Bonds here.
Fatal Bonds, it doesn't scale that great, but you know, if you just feel like you want more damage, then and you don't want to get close. And
yeah, this is what he did last time, right? He went 2, was it like 2-2-4 or like 4-2-4?
I think it's 2-2-2, and then you go 4 in the Fatal Bonds for damage.
Long jump in from Koifa as he makes his first rotation, picking up that level 6. There goes the Fury on ult. Everyone takes a bunch of damage, but nobody dies.
A nice haste rune rotation with Storm. I honestly feel like this Storm hero can't really rotate unless you get a rune. It just costs way too much mana, unless there's like crazy dives happening.
Insania, he was, I think he was trying to do something with that stack that was there. Koifa ran past it, and he needed to get to the mid lane, but he was pinging that hard camp a whole bunch. So I think Insania was trying to do something about that.
Come take the stack. They have a Sand King, please.
Mickey, level 5, so not too threatened by just a Sand King behind this tower, but no one, this is what all these Nature's Prophets do, man. These early rotations, they look to be able to take a fast, safe lane tower, and not much you can do to fight back when you aren't even level 6.
Man, this is so hard to stop when Nature's Prophet actually has levels. It's like he's a mid laner, he's the highest level in the game.
Yep.
Who has the levels to deal with this?
Yeah.
Nobody does enough spell damage to kill the treants. Like, it's just crazy pressure.
And he does it so quickly that there's very little downtime, right? It's not like, oh, why isn't the Storm Spirit threatening that mid tower? He would have gotten like 1 wave over the Nature's Prophet,
You just
right?
go back. Yeah, so you just TP back.
NP just, TP's up the top lane, takes the tower, uses the teleport scroll to go mid, and he's missed out on very little gold, very little experience.
And you know what's so strange to me? How when this Nature's Prophet hero got nerfed, I think it was the last major patch, like 7.27. Maybe it was one of the latter patches, but it was a big patch. Like Nature's was in every single game. He was carry, he was offlane, he was mid, he was 5.
Yep.
Not 4, but every role, right? He was the best hero in Dota, unequivocally. And I think like his win rate went down to 41% or something on Dota 2 Pro Tracker. And I was like, how is this possible? It was just talent nerfs. It was like some talent nerfs, minor tweaks here or there, but it wasn't that big. And now it's back up again. It's like 52% or something. And I think part of the reason is it's the same thing that happened with Ember Spirit as well. When he got his series of nerfs when he was first added into the game, and basically every single patch with this hero, people get better at it. Like people know, okay, this hero has this strength where you can pressure before anybody else does. I'm literally going to sacrifice my game. I'm going to sacrifice going for an early Orchid to build these treads, to be tanky, to go and actually push these towers before any hero can deal with it. And then all of a sudden the win rate skyrockets because people are actually playing it right. And then it makes you think, what could this hero have been if people were playing it better when it was actually broken?
Yeah, for sure.
Like how ahead of the curve were these Nature's Prophet teams that were picking it and owning with it before?
Another question, though, would be is do you think the meta is any different from what he was doing very well before and what it's matched up against now? Like, for example, I feel like this patch right now is very much about this team fight.
Yes.
And then taking these objectives. And one of the things that really defeats team fights is just being one set of items ahead, right? And so if you are that faster pace hero like this Nature's Prophet who guarantees like, oh, the first Wrath of Nature, we're going to be able to win a side lane off of it, and we're going to take a tower, then all of a sudden you have that first round of items before the enemy.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I feel like that's something that a lot of our panels have said multiple times throughout this tournament is like the team that's ahead in the lane is going to crush. Like they're going to snowball. You have these Drow lineups. You have these TB lineups. TB will beat any hero if he has an item advantage on them, no matter what the carry matchup is. Like this is a very common trend. So I think you're totally right that just happens to be how the heroes are currently played, and Nature's Prophet's really good at that. I also think that Nature's Prophet is a hero that lends himself really well to taking like small skirmishes and avoiding team fights, also forcing people to fight 4v5 because he has this split push power.
Yep.
And so you push somewhere, you threaten base, and then somebody TPs back. All of a sudden, you can smoke. You can take a really good fight. And in the previous patch, where Nature's Prophet was popular, there was a lot of these smaller engagements. It was persistent fighters. There was a lot of fighting, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't Warlocks. It wasn't Faceless Voids.
No,
It was,
no.
and if it was only one of them. It wasn't every single hero having some sort of group fight.
Yeah.
Now we have
and
these
Tyrion
crazy
felt so
group
good
fights.
because he just showed up to every fight that was there. All these persistent fights, Nature's Prophet was joining every single one of them, and he was popping a BKB and a
Right.
Solar Crest and right-clicking you.
But now you can take it the other direction where you can win the group fights because you can split the enemy team up. You can not group fight because you have this split push potential. You can avoid the enemy team. How many times have we seen games where it's like, oh, this team has this core farming, this team has this core farming, but also a Nature's Prophet? Like that's just a common thread throughout all of these games with Nature's Prophet is that there's a Morphling farming, there's a TB farming. Okay, 1v1 matchup, they're both doing okay. But the Nature's Prophet, he's getting huge as well. He's a carry. We see tons of people playing it as carry. There's very few heroes that can do that and scale like him as well. You can see like a Bat Rider doing that, right? With the travels. Does Bat scale like a Nature's Prophet can? Not really, not in the same way. Not as a 1v5 right clicker who's going to get satanic and punch your carry in the face and win a man fight with your carry. Bat Rider can't do that. But you can do the split push farming thing, which is still good, but not as scaling.
Some very, very even odds in this matchup, as you would kind of expect. I think this is... People have been watching the Omega League. I think you look at this series and say it's pretty 50-50. Maybe we'll be surprised and one team is just going to dominate the other. But given their performances through this tournament, I feel like teams are on pretty equal footing here.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. It's looked fairly even so far. VP had the really nice pre-game and level ones, but after that it's looked pretty 50-50. Boxy's mid.
Yeah, what is he doing here?
Look at this guy. He's stacking. He's doing the stacking again.
Okay.
Man.
But so he's doing that while he is potentially ganking mid, right? If they see an opportunity, then he's going to go for it. But during this downtime, he might as well be efficient.
Yeah, sure. And he's kind of farming a little bit too. While Taiga, oh my God, what is this? What are you doing? You're a core, Boxy. I can't get over this. I think this is so cool, but I don't get it. I want to understand. I'm not smart enough to understand this. He's supporting. Bro, you're an offlaner. What the fuck are you doing?
Taiga says, look at me, bro. Look at me, Jenkins. I'm the carry now. I've almost got a Blink Dagger already.
I'm so impressed by this.
And part of the reason you're so enthralled by this is that there are very few original and really big new ideas that come into Dota, right?
It's like a 20-year-old game.
Recycling some of the things that we've seen before with new little added-on twists.
He's jungling the easy camp. I did see Puppy doing this the other day. I saw Puppy doing this as a pause 4, but he wasn't a pause 3. But I saw it, Puppy will constantly do this, where he'll basically, if there's nothing he needs to do on the map, he just farms.
Yeah.
He'll just jungle, but he'll take enemy jungle.
Gonna be able to throw out the Primal Roar. Zions can follow this up, but that stun certainly wasn't gonna last long enough, and Mickey turns around and gets a 2-man Chronosphere here. They're not focusing on the same target. That is Koifa coming through to make sure to lend the helping hand. That'll kill Solo at least, but that was a heavy rotation, a Chronosphere used, all for a 5 position.
I think if you're Mickey, you're kind of cool with that, just because his game has been pretty rough. So it's something like that was supposed to be a gank that ended up killing him, and so it's like, all right, I got to kill. But all this time, TB, he's just hitting up that triangle. He's farming those ancients. That's how this hero gets so huge. You just pop meta and take ancients faster than any other hero.
Yeah.
This hero has been broken since they put the ancients back in the triangle. That really made the hero good. Yeah. And then they, for some reason, made it so that his movement speed stays the same in meta. Thanks for that, Mr.
Yeah. So now
Ice Toad.
Just kind of runs you down. He's able to just play this very safe position up on the triangle. It's I imagine Boxy's going to be given back that bottom lane as soon as Taiga actually completes his Blink Dagger, which should be pretty soon here, especially the bounties coming in. Tranquil Boots complete on Zions. He uses his Burrow Strike to get down to the low ground, but he's going to stick around to try and take some of this experience, but they do know the ward was placed, so nicely done. Steals a level 5, but they still manage to get the ward. The initiation, there it is. Taiga with a Blink Dagger. Shows himself onto Solo. They get that kill. Resolution is around here. Zions Burrow strikes through the Roshan pit to hit Mickey, but they still manage to catch up to Resolution here. They need a bash, though. They really need before the Primal Roar goes out. The Primal Roar, it finally goes down. Resolution trying to get out, but he's caught by Taiga. Once again, the Blink Dagger ensnares and gets another kill.
Did you see what Koikva did there with the illusion? He popped the illusion rune and then he microed one, making it look like it was the main hero. So he couldn't turn around and roar Koikva because he's like, I don't know which one of these storms is real.
Yeah.
That was super nice. And forces the roar into Mickey, which he doesn't care. He just, presses his Q ability.
Right.
It's good. Very nice.
Did you just say how you've grown?
I think he does say that, yeah.
Why?
It sounds like he says
That
that.
must be a lore thing. Or slacks when you need it. They have the follow-up. Oh, they do. They have the Orchid already from no one, so this is a pretty easy kill.
Do they have a ward there, or is that just good? Oh, they just know he's there. Really good map awareness from VP, and nice Orchid timing from no one. He has been farming this entire time. Devastating Orchid game, too. Not a single one of these Liquid heroes wants to get Orchided. Maybe minus Taiga. Boxy needs to be careful, man.
He's been caught.
Look at the damage!
He has Fairy Fire and Wand charges, but none of that will be enough.
I thought that was a single right click, but I realized it was the SD thing. I was like,
That was the Soul Catcher.
Where did the damage come from? It's like pure damage Soul Catcher. That's what it was.
How does Soul Catcher work with Orchid? It can't possibly work as damage added to the Orchid. Right?
I think it does. I think it does.
Really?
Yeah, it's all damage that you've taken. I don't think it works like Maledict. I think it's literally just damage that you've taken after the Orchid.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. That's a good question, though. It's hard to find these Dota questions, Once again, 20-year-old game. It's a lot of these mechanics we've talked about at some point. Not
if somebody knows for sure, be sure to let us know. I don't want your guesses. I want 100%. I tested this in a lobby, and this is how it worked.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a very specific thing.
Sorry, I wasn't talking to you. It's just whenever I throw these questions out there, people always give me these contradictory answers. They're like, yeah, I think so. I'm like, that doesn't help me. I've already got an analyst telling me what he thinks.
It does.
I need confirmation one way or another. Resolution, he'll be caught by the rotation here from Boxy, who really needed to be a part of this kill and almost died. If he got Primal Roared, certainly if he got Primal Roared, he would be dead right now. Jeez.
Careful that Necro book there, buddy.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh,
Gets the deny. Whoa, Resolution.
So I thought Boxy was like, okay, Taiga was going to take over and be like, I got you, bro. I'll start roaming around. You sit in a lane. But no, they're actually hunting together, and maybe that's how Boxy will kind of recover some of his game. He just went from 6 to 7 off of being a part of a Beastmaster kill that was level 9, so.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Puck can get some levels, you have the coil, you can toss to break the coil, and it's good setup for the Tiny. Good follow-up for the Tiny as well. I feel like you don't need to farm. We probably would see him farming if that's all they could do, but I feel like you can run around and fight, and that's going to get you more gold and XP anyway, so why not?
The only thing that slows down at Terrorblade's farm, mana. So that's all he needs.
Yeah,
just give him some clarities, so we can spam out even more illusions.
There's some carry players that spam ping their supports to give them clarities, such as Hector from Beast Coast.
Hector is the most efficient man at Dota 2.
I saw him spam ping an Undying who was across the map for a clarity. I will purchase clarity. He didn't even have one in his inventory. He was telling him to purchase one.
No.
Insanity.
He's done that to me. But, I'm me and he's Hector, so I'm like, yes, sir. Right away. Hold on. I'll TP in and give you clarity right away. Hold on. I mean, carry me, Hector.
If you're Undying, I feel like that's the only thing that you can do.
You don't have to stay in the game anymore. Taiga tries to jump in. It looks like Zions got away with a Burrow Strike. Turns around, Disruption, Wrath of Nature with the extra damage coming in there. This Purge certainly isn't going to be enough, but with the Orchid and the Burrow Strike, Taiga will finally go down here, but Mickey's going to be set up for a nice Chronosphere right as Koifa jumped in. That's a little awkward. Mickey hoping for the bashes here to be able to finish off Zions. They need a little bit more damage, and it'll come from Solo. as they did. Their fates were tied together thanks to the fatal bonds.
The unfortunate thing during all of this, though, is that you have the 3 cores of VP farming.
Yep.
You have Beastmaster pushing top. You have Nature's Prophet going wherever he wants because he literally has a button that he can click to teleport anywhere on the map, which is very convenient. And then you have TB, like the fastest farmer currently in the game. That's you don't really want to be duking it out with VP supports. I think you need to bring the game to the cores. Otherwise, you're just going to lose this in the late game. Okay, they're going to use meta to get the mid tower.
Yeah, Boxy's going to come up here and try and help out with this coil, but it means he's leaving this mid lane completely undefended. It does save him, though. Mickey stays alive because of that coil. Does mean they're going to try and rapidly rotate back to mid, but he's already taken so much damage. Toss back on ILTW. Zion's there to bail him out, but Koifa still wants the kill. He sees it. He's got the Orchid. He's got the opportunity to bring the big man down, and he'll zip over and get the double on his Zion's as well. Still has just enough mana to work with. He's not too scared of a Nature's Prophet.
Really great Orchid timing. I was, I literally think, I feel like the game snowballs from here for VP if he doesn't get that Orchid and kill TB right there. He needed that.
Nice avalanche. Just good toss up. That's going to be able to get the kill on solo as well. Virtus.pro, in perhaps their haste of trying to bring down that mid tower so early, gave away a number of kills.
Yeah, the Orchid reveal was a real problem there. I think that's a really good push from VP in the sense that, you're pushing on multiple fronts there with Nature's Prophet and Beastmaster and Terrorblade. Like, it's a lot to deal with, right? So Boxy TP's top, which means the mid push should be free. But there's an Orchid we didn't know about. So TB, he can die because he doesn't have his Mata style yet.
I have to say, I'm surprised we don't see more of this Beastmaster hero. He's gone over the last 2 weeks. He wasn't really contested too much. In about like 10-15% of games he would be contested, picked, banned. Over the last 2 weeks, it's gone up to almost 50%. So the pickup has been more, but he's also at a 64% win rate. That's
insanely high.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he was looking pretty fine after the nerfs because like Necro does more damage to heroes now. It does less to creeps, but it does plenty of damage to heroes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Beastmaster, like, yeah, sure, the farming was a nice part of him, but he, because of the Primal Roar, he likes the damage that comes out from the Necronomicon on heroes. Not necessarily about using it as a farming mechanism. Oh, poor Boxy, man. He just gets like 4-shot by this Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, he's got to be so careful in this game. If he gets caught out, even remotely, he just dies instantly. I don't think he's going to get a Eul's. It's going to take him a long time. He'll probably go for a Blink first, I would imagine, after his... Oh, he is going for... Okay, he's just rushing the Eul's. This will keep him alive. It means that his pick-off potential is a lot less, but then again, he has a Storm and a Void, so I do think in retrospect this makes sense.
Nice Burrow Strike. Zayat's trying to stay ahead of this gank, and they lose the vision. Koifa has to jump away from Resolution. The Primal Roar is available. They're going to drop the golems here to try and save Taiga's life. Mickey, who still has that Chronosphere, is going to pop it right as he sees the epicenter coming out from Zayat. He's going to make sure that's not going to happen. But they are dying to this Nature's Prophet. Taiga gets finished up, I believe, by the Necronomicon, and then the Nature's Prophet killed the Storm, so there's nothing left. Mickey's left on his own. No one continues to go through these supports as now he takes on Insania as well, and the hunt continues. They're going to use out a coil. Jump in. There's a combo out from Taiga that does manage to get the kill onto the Shadow Demon and protects Mickey's life, but this time around, it's certainly a team fight win for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, very nice from Zayat's like every single time, man. He's just getting the instant burrows when the Tiny is trying to initiate. Like, Taiga can't do anything in this game when he's standing in front like that. Really good start to each team fight just with the whiffed initiation there. And then Koik was zipping in. He's like, who do I go on? We don't have detection. Like, I don't want to go on the Beastmaster. He's got too high of HP. Okay, the Chrono comes out. We finally kill him, but we've committed everything for that. And on the back line, no one is just killing everybody with his Orchid.
So between having a Terrorblade and a Nature's Prophet, I think both cores you're kind of expecting to be ahead. TB because of how quickly he farms, and Nature's Prophet, that's just naturally how you're supposed to operate.
How quickly he farms as well.
Yeah, he's got rapid nature, he takes towers, so he should be ahead of the opposing core.
Yep.
Do you think 3,000 net worth, should they be farther ahead? Is this about what you expect?
I think this is, I think they could be farther ahead. I'll hold that thought.
Burrow Strike into the Orchid. This is a dieback for Taiga. It's a big opportunity for Virtus.pro, especially with the Beastmaster approaching this bottom side. They are certainly at least going to be able to get a tower, if not more kills. Pull on back, but I believe the Storm Spirit's just getting out of there and leaving Insania to die. The team quickly surrounds the Tier 1 tower.
So the reason that they don't have a massive gold lead right now, instead of like a 3-4K gold lead, is because they're committing to these pushes. And so they have this advantage when it comes to map control and ability to farm all of these areas because they have more towers, right? So that's the thing here, is that they're kind of sacrificing a little bit of their gold on
Oh,
VP.
Boxy. He ran into the Nature's Prophet because he was trying to contest the bounty rune. No one TP'd into that. Now he's going to jump right into the open arms of Resolution, who's silenced for the time being, but eventually will get out this Primal Roar. And, yep.
And this is exactly the problem. You go for towers. Okay, well, I think SD is fine because no one.
Yeah, he's actually fine. No one. Nice response.
There's so much fighting. I will never finish this point. There's so much fighting in this game.
You got it. I believe in you.
Basically, you have this eventual gold that you're going to get. You have this map control. You're going to get bounties. You're going to have more camps to farm where you feel safe. You can now take over the enemy triangle because you've taken the mid tower. You've taken the bot tower. So VP, now you can see the gold lead mounting. But in the time that they've been fighting, like they've also just been consuming the entire map and preventing Liquid from consuming any of their side of the map.
Yeah, Liquid hasn't really been hitting too many neutrals. They've mostly been just trying to get away from Virtus.pro. They don't have safe areas to be able to farm. Trying to get these bounties, in Boxy's case, failing and dying instead. And that map control may also lead to that big boy right there, Roshan. Is a possibility.
That's a big boy.
It seems the lag is getting passed around. First it was the VP bootcamp, now it's Zayats.
Yeah. Such as...
Fortunately being very mannered with each other right now.
Yeah, it's I mean, you know, at this point in the tournament, it's been a long time. I feel like these teams, casters, and... Oh, what? That's a good one. I like that.
Production.
Good stuff. I don't remember what I was saying. It's probably bullshit anyway.
Yeah, probably. I think there's at least a 30% chance it was bullshit.
Maybe a little bit higher, but that's pretty generous.
Yeah. You're baiting out Mickey. This is how you know a team is kind of in some trouble.
Everybody standing behind him.
Yeah, when they try and bait out a core. They're like, we're so far behind right now that they are just going to keep running at us. They're just going to keep hunting us, so let's try and lay a trap. And... because it's a risky move, right? If it pays off, it looks really cool. Oh, look at that. They baited out their carry and then struck, and looks like they will manage to get a kill on a solo. If it doesn't work, though, you're 4 people stacked on top of your carry, waiting for him to hit creeps.
Yeah, the gold lead is just mounting more and more for VP while they're doing this, because nobody's farming. That's the problem here.
Hey, now they've got a Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be great for the... Boxy puck, maybe. His right click's not very effective.
Yeah, I mean, are you still enthralled by this game plan of Team Liquid? Because this is what it looks like when it goes bad, right?
I mean, I still find it really... I mean, you know, they're playing against an extremely good team, so who's been playing exceptionally well. So I still find it incredibly fascinating and cool. Okay, well, that's a pick-off.
Yeah, it certainly is. A very big pick-off. Zayats, yeah, he's taking too much damage. He'll get popped by the Orchid. Koifa is, I feel like he's the saving grace at this point. He's been doing a good job of, he's only died once, 7-1-3. Pretty respectable score for someone who's down 9,000 net worth.
Yeah, and we've seen today already what a Storm can do in terms of holding that high ground and potentially having a great comeback. So he is definitely looking like it could be one of those games. He's level 16, TB's level 16. I think no one is definitely a big issue. This is very similar to the NIP. You know, they had the TB and Visage, and you're thinking, okay, well, TB is going to be the biggest hero on the map, right? And then it turns out to be the mid that's just completely snowballing.
Yeah.
Like, no one has just been playing this game flawlessly. He has kept the pressure on for this entire game. He is giga-fat.
In trouble. He had already used his Manta, so Mickey, it's godlike spree being given to no one. No one is just coming into this game with some aggression, man.
He really is. He really is. And he has the items to match the aggression, too. Like, if he fed a couple of times, maybe he TPs into these fights and can potentially die, or there could be a turnaround. But he's basically taking this, like, massive net worth he has and pushing it to its absolute limits. And speaking of limits, they're actually going to go into Roshan with Void being dead, force the buyback.
For those of you guys who may have missed some of the matches of Virtus.pro, the reason we're talking about them being so good is they lost their first series against Alliance. The very first one they came into, they lost to Alliance, but they took a game off of Nigma and before losing that series, and then beat Evil Geniuses, Na'Vi, and 5men. It's a pretty strong record. Boxy tries to go in. He actually gets the Roshan kill, so he gets something for his efforts here. Doesn't snatch the Aegis. That's picked up by ILTW.
He gets the XP, but, you know, that's...
Yeah. Hello? Furion. No one. Move the tree, sir. We can't get past. We're stuck.
They're still pinging him. That's so funny. Kind of feels like the old playing with your food scenario here.
Yeah.
They're just enjoying a nice game of Dota on VP.
Yeah, it's that point where you're having the fun of being able to corral like out all the prey that's out there in the field still, just before they go to, okay, this is too hard to play. We just play on our high ground now, right?
Yep,
They haven't lost their tier 2s or anything like that, so they're still going to play outside of their base, but it's coming. Soon these tier 2s are going to be knocked down, and then it's going to be, okay, how do we break Liquid's high ground?
When you were in elementary school, did you ever do the thing where everybody would be, you'd have all the kids standing around in a circle, and then they would have like a, oh, never mind. This is a stupid analogy anyway.
Epicenter. They liked how they saved that Orchid for the last second, but he did still have the Manta. Mickey just getting the time dilation out there before he backs away. The Golem trying to lay some damage out onto Zayat's. Koifa will pull him back in. Zayat's is still pretty tanky, though. He's going to be Orchided up, but they're committing so much just to be able to kill the Sankey. He's going to be saved by the disruption. No Orchid damage is going to be placed onto him. The team was coiled up, but Zayat's has already snuck on by. This is concerning, Jenkins, when you see a team just try and pummel down a 4 position, and they can't even do Matt. Taiga jumping in with the Fatal Bonds. They have the Chronosphere out. A good amount of damage being laid into this Beast Man. So he's going to finish him off. No, Zayat survived earlier. Gets the stun onto Mickey. Saves Resolution's life and gets the kill on Mickey. As a result, they're looking to come in, still trying to finish off the Stand King. One more buyback from Taiga. Doesn't manage to take away this Aegis. Mickey, this is all in at this point in time. Liquid, they need to be able to bring down Zayat. Finally, they do, but Boxy and the rest of the team, they're all falling apart. Mickey's getting some good damage in thanks to that upheaval, but he has to stay away from ILTW. That melee core with all of his illusions. Taiga clears him out real nice and quick. No one, he's the scary one, thanks to all that range for him. It's him and ILTW together against the world. And Mickey just time walked into it. Pops Samantha, trying to finish him off. He doesn't have the time walk to be able to get away. Toss up in the air from Taiga a little bit more to finish off Noah, but he's surviving the BKB. Can he do it? The disruption. Solo will bail him out. Oh, gets him at the last second, but by God, it was worth it. No one may eventually die, but it cost Liquid so many buybacks here. Virtus.pro. They may not be able to approach that high ground, but they certainly devastated Team Liquid's economy.
I think they're happy with how that fight went. I really like the buyback there from Shadow Demon coming in at the end and just making it a little bit harder to kill no one, getting the kill on Boxy. All the buybacks from Liquid basically means on the next Lost fight, they're going to lose. I mean, it looked not bad from Liquid. I really like the initiation from Taiga there into Faceless Void Chrono with the upheaval as well. Like, the upheaval looked just absolutely insane. But ILTW with the Sunder onto the Beastmaster, making it just that much harder to kill him. In Zayat's, man, how many times did you think in that fight, he's dead? Okay, he's fine. He's dead now. Okay, yeah. He's fine. He's dead now. Come on, like, how? Come on, man, just die, for God's sakes.
And that's the net worth advantage that we're talking about, right? Like, what does Zayat have that is making him so tanky? He's top of all of the supports. He's even ahead of Boxy, but
he's got friends. That's the thing. He's got the
friends. Yeah.
He's got the Nature's Prophet save, who is using the Sprout. He's got the disruption from SD.
I believe they have a pipe.
I believe there's a pipe on the Beastmaster.
Yeah, Beastmaster, right?
If he needed to be sundered, he could get sundered, but we saw that actually used on the Beastmaster in that fight. But there's so much just slow baiting that's happening from VP, and you'd think that that would favor this Liquid lineup because they have a Warlock, which is, you know, a lot of persistent damage. But then on the side of VP, you have 3 heroes that are basically right-clickers, Beast, TB, and Nature's Prophet. You have a Sand King who's going to be constantly doing damage, Shadow Demon who's going to be constantly pressing his low cooldown spells. So VP actually prefers to fight into these, you know, long engagements as opposed to these short ones.
And then another thing, he's just got levels, right? Because they're winning the game, he's a higher level than most, and that's what I love about those strength supports, man. You just
tankier,
tankier. The enemy team has to spill more and more resources to be able to bring you down. And we're seeing that put to great effect. It is 20-19, but Virtus.pro, no doubt about it. They are absolutely destroying this game one with a 17,000 net worth lead. Liquid still has a chance. They haven't lost their high ground yet, and they still have very good team fight possibilities here. But it's looking very rough, especially considering that last team fight was not a win for them, and they had to throw bodies at Virtus.pro. They used multiple buybacks.
They did. And the thing is, I think they need to burst somebody. They need to kill one guy, and then the fight will be easier. Mm-hmm. But we saw what happened when they committed to killing one guy. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
I suppose the thing that they need to change is they need to not go for Zayats. They'd probably want to go for solo first. If they can get a core caught out of position, that would be fantastic, but that's not really how VP is playing in this game. They're not. Yeah. They're playing as a unit. They're putting the guys forward that need to go forward. Look at this, Zayats again.
They're going to go for Zayats because he's the one that's forward here. He is going to be able to Yule Scepter off that Orchid, but he will be caught immediately as he comes down.
Okay, that's a start. That's a great start. I was thinking maybe SD was behind him or something, but I think with the bounty runes coming up, they were split to pick those up, and he was playing a little bit greedy.
Is it a good enough start to like smoke up, or do you want to focus on farming right now? What's the deal? What's the word?
I think if you're going to get anything from that, you have to smoke. You have to make a play right now. They just saw SD mid. He made some illusions.
Resolutions ahead of the other cores of Liquid. Yep. And then there's a gigantic leap from Beastmaster to this Terrorblade and Nature's Prophet, who are about to both be over 20,000 net worth.
That's a blue Terrorblade. That is not the Arcana. That is just a double damage rune.
Yeah. He is sparkling with power.
Doesn't look like he's going to put it to any use, though.
Yeah. Liquid spot it.
This time.
Quickly get out. Yeah, I'm going to buy a smoke, though, from Taiga, so maybe Liquid is still looking to get aggressive and catch Virtus.pro at some point. I mean, there is this Roshan that's coming up in a minute time, so they are going to have to come outside of their base for that, no doubt.
Do you see Solo's build? He has a hood. And
is he really?
Bracer. He's
Taiga
Bracer
with a nice Avalanche Fatal Bonds combination. Look at that Chronosphere! Oh my god, that's pretty! A beautiful combination of abilities. Tried to get the Sunder off the last second, but it seemed like that was no doubt. That's what we're talking about. Liquid still has the right execution. They can win any team fight, and that's what it looks like right there. Just 3 heroes clumped up. Shout out to Taiga for seeing that opportunity and seeing it through.
Okay, so the solution is not to kill one guy and then take a 4v5. It's to literally kill them all at once. That is a good solution. I mean, it's very hard to pull off. But, you know, if you can do that a second time, maybe a third.
Whose courier is in the Roche pit right now? Because I don't know how quickly Liquid's team can do it. That's the Terrorblade. So Liquid aren't going to know about Roshan right away, and they probably feel like they couldn't do it fast enough anyway.
It's a decently early spawn, you know, a minute from now. But unfortunately for the timing on that amazing, beautiful team fight from Liquid, everybody's going to respawn, and it's going to be a Roche fight again. The question is, like, will they have Chronosphere? It is in a minute, so they will have Chrono very quickly. Yeah,
will they be able to pull that off again? That is the question. 3 heroes on top of each other for a Chronosphere with the Fatal Bonds out on them as they take all that damage.
Shoutouts to that ward in the Liquid jungle there. That definitely sealed the deal. That's what made that pretty easy.
The old high ground ward.
The classic.
Nobody expects the most obvious ward of all.
No.
I mean, but that's why they were positioned right there, right? They had that ward up on the high ground. They wanted to be able to play around it.
Yeah. Somebody made the call to defend the ward, and that was possibly the best call ever. I mean, that's really good stuff for Liquid. If that turns around the game, if that happens to be the turnaround point, then whoever made that call is a genius.
4-man smoke up, the scan here on the high grounds, checking in, seeing if Liquid's perched up here near this Roshan pit. They don't see anybody, just the illusions. Resolution. It's approaching this ward, still smoked up, but it's going to wear out very soon. They're going to go back into the Roshan pit. Liquid, do they know? Are they going to move fast enough? Can they even get there in time? All questions that we will not have to wait very long to get the answer to, because Roshan is already dead.
What if TB's going to take the cheese or the Aegis? Okay, takes the Aegis. Or, the Aegis. Just to be safe. No one takes the cheese. You could argue, like, you've seen teams not give TB the Aegis before because he dies and he doesn't have the meta when he respawns.
Yeah, transformation heroes, right? It's like these Lycans, Terrorblades, they're just not that useful with the second life.
But when that happens, I always feel like, I get the logic, but I just don't personally agree with it. I totally understand why you want to give the TB the Aegis just to be safe. It's like, this guy's going to be hitting the tower, right? You just hit without Metamorphosis. And if you die and you don't have meta, you just BKB and get out.
Yeah. Also, that like usually applies to Terrorblade, but now he's got a Scotty, right? So even in melee form, he is kind of scary.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty strong. Exactly.
After all, he's got 21,000 net worth. Ranged or melee, that is a quite.
That was a short zip.
Yeah.
He could have been punished for that.
I'm sure he was definitely clenching there.
There was some clenching going on for sure.
Hoping that Zayats wasn't about to blink on him.
Please, I hate Curry. Don't. Not gonna go there. All right, who's this in the jungle here? Mickey, just chilling, hitting some creeps. What has he got?
A bunch of illusions running at bottom right now.
Okay, he's got his MKB. I was going to say, he needs the damage for the TB.
Yeah.
MKB is so effective because TB has so much HP, or so much effective HP due to the agility, due to the armor, but MKB just pierces through that. Obviously, it's magic damage.
LTW, see, he's going to pop the meta. As they hit this tier 3, they want to rip through this repair kit as quick as possible. Cliff goes off last second. Trying to get a little bit more heal timing here, but I don't think Liquid, they're not going to be able to protect it. They may not even be able to protect this bottom lane of Barracks if Virtus.pro doesn't set up some sort of opportunity. There goes the Chronosphere, does manage to launch down 2, doesn't grab no one, and now he's been bro struck up, and Mickey, he's going to die. He does have buyback, though. They're going to still try and fight this out. Last hold here, potentially for Liquid, as Boxy trying to jump into the back line. Yule Scepter up on him. Zions making sure that Boxy's chased away, but they don't want to play too far away from ILTWs. He's taken one lane of Barracks. Time to go for a second. After all, they have no meta. We've got Aegis. Blink away real quickly from Taiga. They just got to poke at Virtus.pro, wait for a better opportunity. They got to play off of the Storm Spirit, zipping in and out. Melee Barracks going down. Orchid, Glimmer Cape, and Mickey can back away, but soon it's going to come down to straight up Megas. ILTW now in melee form. See if he can fight this out. Taiga tries to make his initiation. They do manage to get this beautiful coil onto 3 in the back line. Quaver's trying to finish off. The Fatal Bond's doing a good amount of damage, but now the Orchid and Storm Spirit, he's stuck. No one beating into him, and he's down. He does have a buyback as well. Solo has already expended him, and he's on the way. Reinforcements on the way from Virtus.pro, but here comes the long zip in from Koifa off of his buyback. Tries to finish off Science, but a self-Yule Scepter saves him, goes through the Lincolns, breaks it, and gets him open for the Orchid. That no one finishes off Koifa 2 times in a row. Insania with a desperation TP out, but he will not be making it home. Don't worry. You won't be there for long, as it's looking like Liquid is just going to be cleaned up here in a 3 versus 5. Gonna try and force out that GG call as Taiga not getting away from this. That's certainly the case, and looks like ILTW got beaten down by a melee form Terrorblade. 3 heroes, no buyback. Taiga's gonna go for it, but it's him and Boxy, and neither one has the farm to stop that 5-man from Virtus.pro, claiming the Ancients. So Liquid, no doubt, just talking about what happened in this game, what they can look forward to heading into Game 2.
I love that for the last, 5 minutes of that match, we basically just saw no one standing there with